Michigan State wins its best game of the season. Emotional victory. Also, what it meant to this season moving forward. Everyone played outstanding. Yeah, of course, we're going to talk about this one. Let's go.
Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you so much for kicking off your day with us here at Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white, 5 days a week here at the Locked On Podcast Network. And before going any further, hey, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. We're going to see if my voice hangs on for the first part of this show here because I was lucky enough to be at the game today, and that was incredible to just be there in person. I'm sure it was amazing for you to watch as well, whether you were at the game, watching on television, because that was Michigan State's best win of the season. And that, of course, can be meant in a lot of ways, whether what it meant to the university, the MSU community as a whole. That goes without saying. Very emotional win. You saw Tom Izzo hug Alan Haller at the end of the game. Emotional embrace between those two, but also what happened inside the lines. I mean, we got an email after the game from Andy. He said, quick question. Who is this team playing against IU? The names and uniforms are familiar, but somehow I feel like I've never seen this team play. Top to bottom, everyone played incredible tonight for Michigan State. Yeah, we've seen games where, hey, 3 guys have really good games, but it was really hard to pick out a player that didn't shine tonight. And best to do it, first home game ever since the tragedy. You can't talk about it without adding that, just the amount of maybe pressure that these kids are under to be kind of the bears of the university publicly moving forward. But just also, hey, top 20 Indiana. This is a team that really got the best of you when you played them not too long ago. And also, no, like the tournament night might not have been in danger, but you kind of need this win to start building up your seed line. And it also, hey, if tournament survival was a worry for you, this was the game that kind of put that to rest here. Michigan State's probably going to be in the tournament moving forward after getting such a big win. But God, where do you want to start with this game? Really, because you could talk about anyone here. Let's talk about the guards. 45 combined points between AJ Hoggard, Tyson Walker, and look, yes, Michigan State won by 15. They won 80-65, but didn't really seem like it was going to be that easy for the first 8 minutes of the game. Indiana is up 9 points almost off the get-go here. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is going to go one of two ways. Either, hey, Michigan State, they're going to rally. They're going to fire up the troops. They're going to get this nice home win here. Or, Indiana is already up 8 or 9 points, and Trace Jackson Davis hasn't even done anything yet. So if that beast awakens, we could be in for a really rough evening here at Breslin Center. But, hey, you know what? Tyson Walker nailed those 3-pointers in the first half. He was the reason why Michigan State wasn't just close in the first half, but also went into the locker room with a 35-29 lead at the break. AJ Hoggard just played outstanding, 22 points. Tyson Walker, 23 points. But between both those guys, it was also the defense as well. And yes, both of them had one steal on the night, but it was also just keeping guys like Miller Kopp, in check. Miller Kopp, great shooter, only 6 points for him. Jalen Hood-Schifino, 16 points, but also 0 of 5 from three-point land. And really anyone bench points. So, no, around the perimeter, it was kind of shut down there. So as good of an offensive day as Hoggard and Walker had, they maybe even had a better day on defense. Jaden Akins, too, just 6 points, 2 3-pointers, both in the second half, but he also had an outstanding defensive performance as well, with 3 steals on the night to lead Michigan State in that category. And you also got to talk about the big men. You have to talk about the big men, and we have been very critical of said big men on this show. for right or wrong reason. That's up to you to decide, but we have to give them massive credit here because they were also shorthanded too. Carson Cooper suffered an ankle injury earlier in the week. He was in a walking boot, unable to play on Tuesday night. So, all right, Mady. All right, Jaxon, it's your time to shine. And we got to start with talking about their defensive presence. Trace Jackson Davis, look, 19 points, 7 rebounds. Also, though, 7 turnovers from him. Holding him to 19 points and 7 rebounds is good enough. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best player in the conference. He is one of the best players in the nation. He went into this game with 4 straight performances with at least 20 points and 10 rebounds. Holding Trace Jackson Davis to 19 and 7 is outstanding, and it's the way they did it too. Yes, Michigan State, just like they did with Hunter Dickinson not too long ago, very good with their double teams, the timing of them, how they attacked him. But it was even before he got the ball that was impressive. This was something that my brother pointed out to me early in the second half. Trace Jackson Davis didn't get the ball in the post on the left side of the hoop until like the first 5 minutes of the second half. The scouting report that they had on him was sensational. And no, you can never stop Trace Jackson Davis, but you can contain him. So what Mady Sissoko did, what Jackson Kohler did before the ball even got in his hands was incredible work. And then, yes, when the ball did get in his hands, you can't keep it out of his possession the entire game. But when that did happen, just the crashing that they had down. And, God, Trace, great passer, by the way, too. That's the issue with Trace Jackson Davis, great passer. He would always find the open guy. MSU was so good at funneling around the perimeter and just almost jumping what Indiana was going to do next. It's almost as if they were playing at 2 times speed of what Indiana was. So the scouting report, too, was absolutely sensational. So that is that starts with the big men. That also goes down to the wing players as well. But just to talk a little bit more about Michigan State's big men and Mady Sissoko and Jaxon Kohler. Look, Jaxon Kohler only had 4 points, 7 rebounds, but I don't think I'm being reactionary here or prisoner of the moment. I truly think that was his best game as a Spartan. Yes, he did have that double-double against Rutgers. Maybe you can make a great argument for that being his best game, but what he did tonight defensively, especially at the end of that first half, blocking Trace Jackson Davis, and then also on the other end, going up against one of the best shot blockers in the Big Ten, just so casually and comfortably and scoring on him. It's like, wait, hold on. Which one's the true freshman? And what one is the senior that's the best player in the nation? Like, it's almost like they had a Freaky Friday switch there. But yeah, Jaxon Kohler just played incredible in his 19 minutes on the court. And then Mady Sissoko, too, 18 minutes, 3 rebounds, 2 points. Might sound ridiculous, but he played a lot bigger than that. He did. He did a lot of the little things. Some of what we just talked about. You're just walling off Trace Jackson Davis from even getting the ball in the post in his preferred spot, but tipping passes, getting stops, diving on the floor for loose balls. I mean, look, Mady's been struggling as of late, and it has not been for a lack of effort. But tonight we saw some things that were solid from him. I mean, those days of the Gonzaga game and the Kentucky game, I think we know by now not to expect that necessarily, but it was a strong performance from him, so we have to give him credit, especially after kind of picking him apart as of late here. So, no, it was just top to bottom, an incredible performance. Even the bench, too, Trayvon Holloman, when he had that little fadeaway on the baseline, internally, maybe even externally, too, I was like, what are you doing? Oh, just having the cleanest swoosh of the night here. His defense will never be questioned as well. That was another wing player that played fantastic. Willie Call, 10 points off the bench, 5 rebounds. But, yeah, this was just a great game from Michigan State, and it was great just all around. I don't know what else you could say. It was very – we'll never have a game like that at Breslin, especially just because of everything that's happened in the last week. And I'm sorry to steer the conversation here because, that's the joy of these games is that you can somewhat forget about everything going on. This is the distraction that the games offer. But being on campus, just to speak about, my own personal experience, if you're not able to get to campus, if you're far away or too busy to get to campus, I mean, it was sobering just to see everything. It was almost like walking on a movie set because you see all the pictures of the signs and the flowers and the words of encouragement written everywhere, but, like, walking on campus, it was eerie. It was quiet. You walk by the Spartan statue, just so many flowers and tokens of support there and signs, and you take that walk on the way to the game, and, yeah, it sounds silly that, the game helped because nothing will ever fix it, especially the silly little game that took 2 hours, but there was a lot of gravity behind that game. And I think that obviously the team felt it, no question. Tom Izzo did as he was walking off the court. But yeah, just wanted to share the experience there and also give thanks to everyone once again that's shown support at Michigan State, whether it's leaving flowers at the Sparty statue, coming up with a sign, or packing Breslin today and rallying behind this team because we could all use each other now more than ever. And having a win like that, of course, sounds silly. It's just a game, but having something to smile about for the community helped a lot. It did. So just wanted to mention that. Again, the game seems so small, but yeah, if you do have a chance to get to campus, I would suggest walking around just to really soak in what it actually feels like there. So that's what we have. Before we get you out of here, really quick, just need to talk your ear off about FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's right, gang. Just because football's over doesn't mean the fun's over. They got all sorts of action going on at FanDuel Sportsbook. I got in a lot of fun, actually. I had a same game parlay of Michigan State money line. AJ Hoggard over 11 and a half points, and then Joey Hauser 8 rebounds as well. And oh my God, would you believe it? It actually hit. That's great. So thank you, FanDuel. I will be withdrawing those funds immediately. And that's the best part about FanDuel is that you get paid instantly when you take your money out. You're not just waiting 3 days or 4 days to wait to get paid. Mr. FanDuel pays you immediately. So what are you waiting for? Go join the fun on the best sports book out there. Don't miss the chance to get in on your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to fanduel.com/lockedon. That's fanduel.com/lockedon to get that $1,000 in bonus bets for your no sweat first bet. If you lose your first bet, up to $1,000 are going to pay you back in bonus bets. What are you waiting for? FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.